Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler. On this first day of October, if you don't have sports topics in the first day of October, you don't have sports topics. The busiest month in the sports world. We got the Major League Baseball playoffs on right now, of course, and college football really into action right now. Going to do the NFL Power Five. A lot of you really like my Power Five rankings here. Excuse me. And Dylan Gabriel will be the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. I'll talk about that here in a little bit as well. And 30 minutes past the hour, I'll have the great Keith Engel from TGI Sports coming on the program. Been a huge guest in the past. Don't get a chance to get Keith on a lot. He's a very busy guy. Plus, I've been busy, as well. So stand by. We'll take our first and only break, and we'll hit the ground running here shortly here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All righty then, I'm back here live. Okay. I don't really know where to start. Decisions. Let's start with that Sunday night game. The Packers, as you know, I've had them at one point, number one team in my power ranking. Love the start that they got off the first 2 weeks of the season when they got Micah Parsons. Massive, biggest offseason deal there, trade. Nobody thought it was going to happen. I knew that Jerry Jones was going to give him a big chunk of money, and simply just drag it out for marketing purposes. I just practically finished, and that's a long series, by the way, the Cowboys documentary there with Jerry Jones and whatnot. I was really surprised by that, but the trade happens. They dominate Detroit week one. That they beat on a Thursday night. Week two, they beat the Commanders, and of course, the Commanders in the NFC Championship game. They're everybody's power ranking, or most people's, pretty high up in the power ranking. Defense looks airtight. Offense, although had some injuries, a lot of depth, and since then, they've lost to the lowly Cleveland Browns, one of the worst teams in the league, although they have very good defense. I'll talk about that a little bit later. And now they tie. They give up 40 points, and they tie on Sunday night. They tie the Dallas Cowboys. And, a lot of people want to talk about this is still a very young team. 2 years ago, they were the youngest team. They're one of the youngest teams ever to win a playoff game since the 70s, per se. Okay? I get that about the Green Bay Packers, but let's go back farther. Let's go back to the Aaron Rodgers years, to the two back-to-back MVP years, losing in the playoffs to a Tampa Bay team, a team coming from Tampa, Florida, all the way up to Green Bay, Wisconsin, in January, folks, against the higher seed there, and lose. And a lot of you want to say, myself included, I kind of bought in, maybe because Matt LaFleur is a young guy, Aaron Rodgers, pretty close, an older quarterback. These guys are pretty close in age there, that maybe he's undermining him. and LaFleur cannot get his full voice around this team. And of course, we know what happened. Rodgers leaves. They finally get Jordan Love squared away. And, I just see them, losing to Cleveland like that. You overlook that one. Then you tie this Dallas Cowboy team, who's one of the worst defenses in the league. Now, they got the best offense in the league, but they're one of the worst defenses in the league. And you simply, it just goes, the coach's personality is on the team. The team usually takes the personality of the coach. Again, with the Dallas Cowboy documentary, and a lot of you are canceling Netflix for different reasons right now. But if you get a chance, watch it. It's really good. But it shows how the difference between Jimmy Johnson, a disciplinarian who always worked super hard to have the Dallas Cowboys ready, okay, converse to a Barry Switzer, a loosey-goosey kind of guy that was a little too friendly with the players. And then, as you can see later on, as the documentary goes, Troy Aikman becomes the bad guy. He's like, how come I got to coach this? I'm the player here. Why don't you coach these guys? And it goes on and on and on, and it gets worse and worse and worse. The players, you start to see the team fall off, and they haven't been back to the Super Bowl since the hand and the players that Jimmy Johnson brought in. But my point is, the team takes that on. I know LaFleur is a fairly young in age coach, and he's been at this team for a number of years now. I get that. But I'm starting to get the feeling that maybe he's just a soft guy. Maybe this team is just soft underneath him. They got a new defensive coordinator, still giving up 40 points. Mike was back, didn't have many injuries. They were 6 and 7 point favorites in this game. So it's an observation. Maybe they grow. Maybe the team, it's just young and they grow into it. And this is just a thought. But right now, it just seems like the Green Bay Packers are soft. And a lot of that is from Matt LaFleur. They just don't know how to finish games. They lack that grit. They lack that sense of urgency. Okay. One of my biggest observations of the weekend, because I had them as one of the top teams in the league. So I am a little strapped on time. I need to move on to the next observation there, folks. Other big game of the week here. Kansas City, Baltimore. A lot of storylines with that particular game. By the way, and I'll bring this up with Matt New Yorker. He didn't want to hear it. I was 5-0 in my picks in the NFL. I nailed the Minnesota Pittsburgh exact score there. I nailed that on the money. But anyways, I correctly predicted. I said, listen, Kansas City, getting healthy, got Xavier the Worley back. I think this team's going to play really well. Baltimore, Lamar Jackson was 1-5 against Kansas City. Coming in now, he's 1-6. Monday night football game. Coming in on a short week on the road. I really like Kansas City. Won a few dollars off that particular game. Came out pretty good. But my thing is, yes, they had injuries. I do also think Kansas City is in his head just a little bit. And I think that people were overlooking the fact that the Chiefs' offensive line, this rebuilt offensive line, is not that bad. I saw some running plays when they needed it. I saw some deep plays downfield. I like Tyquan Thornton, another few more big catches. So you have two deep threats now. And they haven't even got Rashid Rice back. So they're trending upward here. They're trending upward. You look at and I feel good about my prediction of them still winning the AFC West here. We see with like I said last week, the LA Chargers seem to be falling apart at the seams. Now Joe Alt's out with an ankle sprain. We talked about the running back injuries last week. We talked about the pressures on Justin Herbert last week. They just seem like a sluggish team at this point. They lost to the Giants. And, of course, Kansas City, look to be in the driver's seat here. It's a lot of football to be played, but I'm just saying they look to be in the driver's seat. So anyways, and another angle to that particular deal is the Steelers. What a break that they caught. They're 3-1 now. Baltimore has Lamar Jackson's going to be out a few weeks. He's got a hamstring. Your best defensive player, Roquan Smith, 2 to 4 weeks there. They're already 1-3. Marlon Humphrey, one of their better cornerbacks. So you got front middle guys out. Plus you had a defensive tackle. He's out for the season coming into that game. They got a lot of depth. It's not totally over because they do have depth and they can come back. But you look at Cincinnati, the disaster they've turned into. Cleveland cannot score. And I'm about to get to them in a minute. So Pittsburgh, lowly old Pittsburgh now, they still could fall apart as well. And then Baltimore can get back healthy and the winner be 9-8 and still go on a run towards the end. It's still early in the season, folks. We're still, 4 games in. Bill Belichick used to say, this is in quarters. The season's in quarters. Back on the 16-game season, 4-4-4. And then they got 4-4-5, of course. But we're still technically in we're coming into the second quarter, if you want to be technical about it. Okay. But anyways, a lot to go there about, like I said, I mean, the Chargers, like the 49ers, who also lost, seem to be falling apart at the seams right now. It's not over, but it doesn't look good. Okay. Big story developed today. I think this is interesting. I know the Browns aren't that good, but I do think this is a pretty interesting story. Browns star Dillon Gabriel today. Now, he was a third string. He was considered technically the backup, per se. Deshaun Watson's still on IR. He was considered a backup, third string, Shedeur Sanders. I don't understand what the controversy is. Then you hear guys, and this went viral today. Might have been yesterday, but I think it was today. But anyways, when this was officially announced here, I thought I had this down, folks. But you look at guys like, what's his name here that says something about it? Rex Ryan basically saying, stop talking about, and he made a comment. But there, let's see if I can play it.
Stefanski is one of an outstanding coach. All right. But why the hell isn't he putting Shedeur Sanders? We're all waiting to see this Shedeur Sanders be the guy or Gabriel, whatever. Something's missing. Something's missing with this kid. This kid talks. He runs his mouth like I could be a starting quarterback with his arms crossed like this. Get your ass in the front row and study and do all that. If I know, the whole league knows. Quit being an embarrassment that way. You got the talent to be the quarterback. You should be. You should be embarrassed that you're not the quarterback now.
Yeah. And listen, he got a little heat for that. I mean, what's he talking about? And I saw some stuff on social media, some of the reporters here that kind of went viral. Listen, he's just calling it like he sees it. He's getting paid for his opinion. He's going coach mode. Now, is he the authority on quarterbacks? No. Quarterbacks that he's worked with has ran in the ground. But he does make a good point. Sanders was picked in the 5th round. Gabriel's picked in the 3rd round. Why don't he see things through their point of view, the Cleveland Browns' point of view, and just say, you know what, I'm going to get my shot. I'm going to kick butt. I'm going to lay back here, and I'm going to do my thing. All right. Today, when he was asked about it, Shedeur Sanders, I played the cut, but he doesn't say anything. I guess he took notice to that on Get Up. Was it First Take or whatever? Get Up of Rex Ryan saying that, and so he doesn't say anything. It's very immature of him, if you ask me. All he had to say is, "Hey, listen, they wanted to play him. I'll get my shot. Hopefully, I'm just going to do my job and learn as much of the playbook as I can." That's all he could have said. He could have did that, but he didn't say anything. He's playing little games. I think that's the reason why he's in this spot right here. I mentioned this before in the preseason with the maturity issues. that he's had, bringing in his brother to hunt down some kind of local radio reporter who I'd never even heard of until the guy this came out over the summer during training camp, talking about how do you criticize him? And that was after he got his one start and he had a pretty good game. Then he got injured. He hasn't got that. I think when he came back, he had an awful game. He didn't have that many snaps. All that being said, how good is Gabriel going to do? We don't know. Gabriel better win and take off. My prediction is he's going to be pretty mediocre, and I do think that they'll give Shedeur Sanders a shot. I do think he'll give him a shot. But that being said, the guy does need to grow up. He needs to quit taking this stuff so personal. He realizes he's got to look at it from the perspective of the organization and say, you know what? I just got to prove everybody wrong. I mean, he's a 5th-round pick. Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick. All right? Tony Romo was undrafted. Kurt Warner was undrafted. If you're the man, you're going to find your way. And he knows that this team is not scoring any points. They're 31st in points behind the Tennessee Titans here in Nashville, which is dreadful. But it's saying you don't want to go to the Baltimore Ravens because Lamar Jackson's there. He would have got a shot to play this week because Lamar's out. He would have probably been better for the offense than the quarterback they got in there. It's a non-running quarterback. Same thing with Philadelphia. Said he didn't want to go to Philadelphia, but all those great players, he did not want to go to Philadelphia because he didn't want to pack up Jalen Hurts. So he's brought a lot of this on himself. I don't know if it's Deion. I'm sure Deion's putting him up to a lot of this. But some point, man, you got to grow up and just I think a lot of that is why they don't want him. He is where he is right now. So a lot of that self-inflicted. Okay, the Power 5, folks. I do not want to get too far behind because I know the great Keith Angle will be on the program here in about 13 minutes. A lot of people love my Power 5 here. Got a new team, probably a little controversial. I don't think a lot of people's going to put Tampa in the Power 5, but I've got Tampa as 5th. He said, well, Robert, they lost last weekend. That was a good loss. I watched that game and I thought to myself, man, Philly is hanging on by threads here. They are hanging on by threads in this game. But either way, like the fact they got Thurston Wirfs back. I love the fact, well, of course, they're 3-1. They're tied for the league in the division. 2 big road wins earlier this season. Got a big game this week. By the way, they'll play at Seattle. We'll break that game down. But they seem to have a lot of team chemistry. They have no quit in them. You look at the emergence of Emeka Egbuka, probably the rookie of the year if the season ended today. They've also got Chris Godwin back. Baker Mayfield, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. 59% completion percentage could be a little better. I like how they played towards the end of the game. Never giving in, just like it went here. They're going to get Mike Evans back here in a few weeks. I just think this team is a tough out for anybody. Do I think they're in a Super Bowl? No, but a snapshot of where they're playing right now, I wouldn't want to play the Tampa Bay Bucks right now. Remember, they went up to Detroit and beat them up there in Detroit at the beginning of the season last year, okay? And Detroit was the number 1 overall seed to start the playoffs last year. I do think this team have fought through injuries. They're getting players back. They're going to be that much better. As the season goes along. As long as they got Vita in the middle on the defense, by the way, they're 4th in total defense too. So, I mean, got a lot. Bucky Irvin, a lot of balance there at the running game, a lot of balance there. In the passing game, kudos to Baker Mayfield on his 3rd offensive coordinator in 3 years, and they're still playing really well. Okay, so I got them at 5. Number 4, Rams. Another good win last week there. Puka Nacua, probably, looked up a stat yesterday, probably the best quarterback wide receiver tandem in the NFL right now with Puka Nacua. Thought I had a stat on him. I had some sound bites that I didn't get a chance to play. Puka Nacua, 503 yards, first in the league in yards, first in the league in receptions, 42, first in targets, eight receptions plus 20 for 20 plus yards. He's first in that as well. I told you that Devontae Adams, no matter what percentage he's playing he's going to be a good complementary piece to Puka Nacua. And look at him. He's playing like the best wide receiver in the NFL. Love that combination. Not to mention that Rams defense. Rams got a real shot at the Super Bowl if Matt Stafford's back holds up. I got them at number 4. By the way, 67% completion percentage for Matt Stafford. This guy's no slouch. Okay, number 3. This is going to be controversial as well, folks. Philadelphia. Philadelphia undefeated, man. They got all this talent. Listen, folks, they dropped the 3 because they're winning, but offensively seems more like the Eagles' offense of 2 years ago. They skated the Eagles. Let's think about 2023. They skated by the first 12 games of the season last year. Remember, they was on a different offensive coordinator then, right? They changed offensive coordinators. They was on a new coordinator, hired an in-house guy. Sound familiar? Hired an in-house guy in 23. And they skated by the first 12 games, but fell off the last 6. Had to go on the road and play at Tampa, if you recall. And ultimately, they lost that division. Remember, they lost that division to Dallas. And ultimately got humiliated in the playoffs by Tampa. And it's very similar. It's very similar to this particular team. You're looking at A.J. Brown on and off again, 20 to 40-something yards in certain games. Saquon Barkley, he does not look good. He's a shell of himself. He looks like a shell of himself. I'm not saying he's washed up by no means. I just thinking the scheme doesn't look good. The plays don't look good. A lot of that is set up in scheme here. So I know the defense is keeping them in games, but the defense isn't all world either. They're skating by. They're having problems. They still got a bunch of talent. I think they can correct it. But for right now, I got them number 3 as a snapshot in my Power 5. Okay? I had to give you a little extra time in that one because people say, Philadelphia Eagles, man, Super Bowl champs. Okay, Detroit, number 2. If Detroit and Philadelphia played Sunday, for example, I would pick the Detroit Lions. Yes, I would. They're healthy. I just love their balance, man. 34. I've just mentioned, Cleveland, number 1 defense in the league for yards. The Cleveland Browns, they might be bad offensively. Number 1 defense in the league, no problem, man. Detroit, short week, physical game against Baltimore, no problem. 34 points on the Cleveland Browns. Defense held Cleveland, by the way, 249 yards. They are top 11, I want to say, total defense here. And you look at the first week, the blowing out, you could see the adjustments as the season went along and the games. You say, well, Baltimore's down, Chicago, but Chicago did win the blowout to Chicago, then Cleveland. I do think that this team has balance. I think they got pushed up front defensively. I think they're disciplined on a back end. Brian Branch defensively, they're disciplined at the cornerback. The corner's actually good this year, playing really well. And, of course, Jared Goff, he's back to playing like the guy he was a year ago, where he's having these games where he's getting like 1 incompletion per game. So they're number 2, man. I think they're legit. They're a legit Super Bowl contender. And number 1, Buffalo. Buffalo's 2nd in total yards, 1st in rushing. Had some injuries on the defensive side. Still get a double-digit win. They're still 11th in total defense, even though they gave up a lot of points there in that Baltimore game in week 1. Buffalo's a house of fire. Got the best player in the league in Josh Allen. The least sacked quarterback in the league. They had their first try. I kind of thought they'd be a little flat. against the New Orleans Saints, but they end up coming out pretty good on that thing. And like I said, 11th in total defense, second in total yards, first in rushing here. I do think they'll probably make a move around the trade deadline, maybe add another defensive piece or two. But, they were my preseason favorite to win the Super Bowl, and they seem to be playing the best football as of right now. Again, let's recap this. Number 1, Buffalo Bills. Number 2, Detroit Lions. Number 3, the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 4, the LA Rams. And number 5, the Tampa Bay Bucks. A lot of people may go elsewhere with that number 5. Not me. That's my top 5 right now as we speak. Okay. All righty then. So I've got Keith Engle coming in about 4 minutes here. I guess I can comment on a few other stories. And I mentioned the fact about the Baltimore. Let me say this about the Ravens. I do think the Ravens, it's just one of those years. The 49ers had it last year. Here at Nashville, I've seen the Titans over the years when they've had Super Bowl-like runs or long playoff runs a few years where they had teams we know that they were good in the 99 and the early 2000s where they just had too many injuries. I think that I was just looking at this with the Ravens, going back to them. Looking at this, Ari Marvo from the guy on the XL Sports Update, I think he works with 33rd Team, talks about Lamar Jackson did not practice, Marlon Humphrey, Roquan Smith, Nate Wiggins, that's our former first-round pick from Clemson, their other cornerback, Awuzie, their left tackle, Ronnie Stanley, who's always banged up anyways. And then Cal Hamilton's got a growing injury. He was limited. Their starting center was a calf injury. He's limited. So they're just banged up all over the place, But it just seems to be one of their issues here right now. Also, another news, Tyreek Hill. I mean, dislocated knee, has a torn multiple ligaments, dislocated, including his ACL. His season's over with. Thought they should have traded him. Now they're going to get nothing. The way Charlie in the Chocolate Factory would say, not Charlie, what was the game? Willy Wonka would say in the classic Charlie. Now they get nothing. I feel bad for Tyreek. I know he's a little bit of a knucklehead. He's going to be a disaster. He's done. I don't know if the poor guy will play again. He's 31 years old. He's probably going to try to play. He's got a bunch of kids here that he's got to take care of by a bunch of different women, some legal issues there. But as far as Mike McDaniel is concerned, yeah, they got the win. That may be the only win they get this season. He's on the hot seat, and they're another team can't hardly stop anybody. They're going to be picking up here pretty high in the draft as well. And just a few college takes here. I guess I can bring this up with Keith Engle. James Franklin, he's another guy. Is he 4-12 against the in these big games? Man, I've had so much stuff I could have used tonight, but I just did not get a chance to get to it. 4-20. James Franklin, 4-20 against AP top 10s, 1-17 in conference play versus top 10. I think he's got a little bit of a Matt LaFleur in him. Plays a little scared in these big games. I thought that Oregon had the better team early on. They got some momentum at home. Meaning Penn State off a bye week. You're at home. You've got to win that game. Veteran quarterback here. Now I read it. Drew Aller is a third-round prospect. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, you score. I'm talking about Penn State, fourth quarter, folks. You score. You get a stop. You score again. You're a point away from tying. It's 30 seconds to go. You're a point away from tying. Why the defense is lagging a little bit? They look like they get a little jet lag. I'm talking about the Oregon defense. Why don't you go for two? I don't know if you miss it, but I think that they had a little bit of a rhythm there in that running game. Why don't you go for 2 and end it there? It looks like you didn't have the better team. He didn't have the nerve enough to go for 2 and home and with 100,000 people. Now, would Dan Campbell, would Detroit Lions go for 2? Yeah. But, this guy, I remember when he was recruiting at Vanderbilt, James Franklin, he was talking about he would judge coaches what way their girlfriends or wives look. They said, you got to have some confidence, man. If you got a pretty girlfriend, pretty wife, it means you got a lot of confidence. And I'm thinking, well, where's your confidence at, man? Why didn't you go for 2? Did you have confidence in defense? I don't know. Dante Moore's moving the ball up and down the field on you. But anyways, man, I've got a well of a guest here. I hadn't been here in a while because I've been so busy, moved and everything. Keith Engle, folks, from TGI Sports. Hey, Keith, how you doing tonight, man?
Robert, where you been? You don't call, you don't text, you don't write.
Well, I've had to move to a new apartment,
Oh.
and I hate moving, man. That's why my background looks a little different, and I had to put back some money. I had paid off a school loan. All this happened over the summer. I was working like crazy, moving, and
Life takes
I don't
over.
know. I don't know about you, man, but the older I get, the harder it is to move.
We moved 2 years ago. We bought a new townhouse we wanted to make sure we're on one level when we had to be on one level. So
Yeah.
that was it. Next move for me is 6 feet in the ground. That's it.
Hey, that may be me too, buddy. Hey, you know something? I had a whole list of questions I was going to ask you, but when I was killing time before you got here, this is hot topic on my mind. I see that college background. James Franklin, he said this when this is a little Vanderbilt inside. He said, I used to judge my coaches on how pretty their girlfriends or wives were to see how much confidence they had, Keith. But I'm looking, they lose Saturday, big game to Oregon. He's 4-20 versus AP top 10 teams.
21.
Yeah, that's
21
right.
after last week.
Yeah, Oregon, excuse me. I misread this ESPN Insights. And he's 1-17 in conference play in top 10 opponents here. Was you saying that, and this may just be me, Keith, this may be just me, but they come back, they score late in the fourth quarter, they get the ball back, they score again, it's 30 seconds to go. The defense is, they're lagging there. They got a little jet lag. I'm talking about the Oregon defense. Do you think about going for 2 at the end? I'm hollering at the TV, go for 2, man.
Yeah, I quite frankly, I bet the over in that game, so I was really hoping for overtime. It's the only way I could win. But
Well, I appreciate your honesty.
I thought for sure they would go for 2 because
I'm not crazy then.
No, you were down 14 in the fourth quarter. You got Oregon on their heels, and the momentum's in your favor. And I would have definitely 100% gone for 2, especially when I've got a team and a coach that needs that. They need that win. Yeah. That was a more important game for Penn State than it was Oregon. Right. And for Oregon to I think Oregon showed a lot of moxie to come back and win that game after they fell behind. But there's something missing there, man. I'm telling you, Drew Allar has been talked about as being one of the top quarterbacks in the country, similar to Cade Klubnik in Clemson. 2 guys that have been third-year starters. They've regressed, both of them. They've got talent. He's got better talent at wide receiver and running back than he's ever had the last 2 years. And the offense, it still looks like something out of the 1980s sometimes.
It does. Very vanilla, predictable, running into each other.
Yeah, you don't see the type of motion and just multiple guys in motion and things that other teams do to get guys out in space, as they say, right? And you don't see Penn State taking advantage of the athletes that they do have now at those skill positions. And Drew Allar has taken I think a big step backwards this year, and that's been a big part of their problems. I mean, he didn't play that great against inferior competition before this game.
Right. So I thought they would win being off of bye week with their running game, Keith. Did you think they was going to win that game? Did you pick Oregon?
I didn't like the game. I bet the over. So I just wanted everybody to just keep scoring. So because I didn't really, I would if you put a gun to my head, I would have said Penn State should win this game.
Right.
But Penn State should have won a lot of these games since James Franklin's been there, and they never do. They never
like a cheap suit. Speaking of soft here, Matt LaFleur. We've talked about this going back a few years. Tampa goes up back when Brady was there, beats Green Bay in Green Bay. A lot of us, myself included, thought, okay, maybe Aaron Rodgers is undermining Matt LaFleur. Maybe he's hurting Matt LaFleur's voice on the team. But, they get off to this really good start. They were number one in my Power 5. And I'm thinking to myself, you beat 2 playoff teams right off the bat. You do the big Micah trade. And then you go you lose to Cleveland. Okay, that's a hiccup. You're going to destroy Dallas, who's got one of the worst defenses in the league. But you tie Dallas. You give up 40 points to Dallas. Is he soft, man? It's Matt LaFleur. Is his personality on that team? What's the problem there?
There's something missing for sure. And that maybe, it starts to come down to coaching. There's plenty of talent there. Jordan Love doesn't seem to really play consistently to the level he probably should. Okay. Very inconsistent. The defense, as you said, they looked like they were the best defense in the league the first 2 weeks.
Oh, especially that Detroit game, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And to give up 40 against Dallas, who's, by the way, got no running game, so you know what they're going to do. Plus, they're at CJ Lamb. Jesus, Lamb's out.
Excuse me. I call him that too, though.
It's been a long day. It's been like 3 hours, and I'm kind of like my mind's going here. But
that's all right, man.
That's all right. But again, there's something missing. You have to start looking to the sideline at some point. The players have to play, but the players have to get coached up. And when
have you watched any of that Dallas documentary on Netflix? It's great, man.
I watched the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well done. Yeah.
But you saw the difference between Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer. And I'm thinking this is kind of feels like that a little bit, It
does a bit. And there's different ways to win, right? Some coaches have won like that, but more laid back, a player's coach, and they expect players to be men, right? And police themselves. And probably in a perfect world, you'd be able to do that. These, again, I guess they're not grown men necessarily at 24 years old. I'm still waiting to reach my full maturity, and I'm 65. So. But and some teams can do that. They can coach themselves, if you will, or police them. Not necessarily coach themselves, but police themselves. And this team, you get sloppy penalties, silly, silly turnovers. Jordan Love is just, to me, he's frustrating to watch because he can look like a Hall of Fame quarterback. Yeah. He could look like a Hall of Fame quarterback for 3 quarters and then look like he forgot how to play the game in the last quarter. If I was a Green Bay fan, I don't know how long a leash, and you don't hear his name mentioned as being in trouble, right?
Right.
But expectations are higher now than they've been since the year before Rodgers left. Maybe since that championship game you talked about. They should have won that game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Green Bay, January, or MVP Rodgers, and it just looked like they folded. Coach scared almost in that game.
Well, he kicked the field goal at the end of the game instead of going for a touchdown.
Oh, you still remember that? Yeah.
I still remember that, and I still remember Aaron Rodgers could have walked in the end zone, it looked like, on 3rd down, and he threw the ball away. He could have at least taken a shot. And he didn't, and then LaFleur decides to kick. And to me, I'm a guy who wants to go for the win, right? And end the game, if you will. Don't play to continue it.
Play to win the game. Yeah.
And he doesn't seem to do that. And coaches all of a sudden seem like you wonder, why do I never hear this guy's in trouble? Then all of a sudden I thought the same thing about Mike McDaniel for the longest time. Why does nobody say this guy's in trouble? Now
they say he's in trouble. I know.
I can't believe he's still got a job. So it happens like that. It changes, Yeah. And Matt LaFleur could be a guy who that catches up to. And maybe he's a good coordinator. There's a lot of good coordinators he's done a good job. I can't really say he has done
Norm Turner's a good coordinator. Watching that documentary.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
We know how bad he was. The flip side, what do you think about a team like Detroit? Are they legit this year? I think they're legit, man. I think they're battle tested.
I do. I think, the people are all concerned about them at the beginning of the year and how much it would miss their coordinators. We saw how the Eagles struggled the first time they lost both their coordinators, but they lost both their coordinators again this time, didn't they?
Yeah.
So they're playing pretty good football. So you got a strong head coach and he makes good choices. I think he promoted from within for those two positions, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So they're still doing a lot of things that they were doing with Ben Johnson there. And I think everybody got all concerned that first week. But look, you can't get worked up over the first 3 weeks of football because they don't play any real football until then, you know. So
I saw a video the other day, and John Gruden's working with Barstool now.
Yeah.
And he's talking about the guys, all these injuries. Well, they're not practicing. You're not practicing in the preseason. You're not playing any preseason games.
I've said this forever. That's guys aren't ready to absorb hits. They don't, you got to hit. And you can't hit. Once the season starts, you only hit on Sunday. You don't hit any other time. So you're going to get a lot of that. And as far as the Lions go, I think they're a really, really good football team. But the time to get it done is now. The window doesn't stay open that long for most teams, right? There's not a lot of Patriots or even Chiefs out there who are going to stay have championship potential year after year after year for that long. And the Lions have knocked on the door. Now you got to just kick it in at some point. So
that's true. Now you mentioned the Eagles, and I mentioned this before you got on. I've got them 3 of my Power 5 because the 2 years ago they kind of favored that 2 years ago team, Keith, with they skated by the first 12 games, and then they fell off a cliff the last 6. I mean, A.J. Brown's getting like 30 and 40 yards, 46 yards the other day.
He's already crying to get out of there, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, well, one day he's high, one day he's low, whichever game he has.
That stuff's just not good for a team, and they feel like, to me, yes, they're a good football team. There's no doubt about it. They haven't lost a game.
So, yeah.
But they feel, and I said this last week, I thought they were going to lose to Tampa, and they blew a big lead. They just feel like they're a team looking to lose a game.
Yes, that's the best way to say it. Yes.
Right? But they've managed to avoid that with some fortunate, bounces of the football against the Rams and holding off. I mean, Tampa Bay,
they could have lost both of them games.
If Baker doesn't throw that bad interception down near the goal line there in the fourth quarter, they may very well lose that game. So they would have been all the way back tied after that. So they just feel like a team that's looking for a loss right now. And that doesn't mean they're a bad football team, but hopefully things don't. That was an ugly situation there 2 years ago. I was surprised Sirianni survived it because there was a lot of division in that locker room, and Jalen Hurts was right in the middle of it. And I think there's still people, certainly fans, and I think maybe even in that locker room, that are still unsure that Jalen Hurts is that guy, even though he's won a Super Bowl now.
Yeah, that's an interesting situation here. What's your thoughts about the media making a big deal about Dylan Gabriel getting the start over Shedeur Sanders with Cleveland? He's third on the depth chart. Why not? Or second or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer. The guy is second. He got drafted before Shedeur. You're going to give him a shot first.
Yeah.
I keep saying, Shedeur should just be quiet, practice, do what you got to do. You're going to get a chance. You're either in Cleveland or someplace else. You'll get a chance. And I don't think he's going to be a great NFL quarterback. I think he could be a serviceable player in this league.
Yeah.
For a while, if he just keeps his head down and keeps improving, just let circumstances take care of themselves.
He's talking too much, ain't he?
The problem is the coaches didn't want him. The owner wanted him. The coaches didn't want him. He's going to have to just wait for a break to come his way.
Yeah.
And if he'd be better off just being quiet, his chance might come someplace other than Cleveland, but he'll get a chance somewhere at some point.
And he was really sarcastic. I don't know if you saw this today, but Some reporters are asking about it, and he's not saying anything. He's like a mom.
Yeah, he mined the whole thing, right? That's again. There's a level
He's
of
so immature, ain't he, Keith?
there's a very high level of immaturity there for sure.
Yeah. You mentioned Drew Aller earlier, and I had to ask you. I know we're only 6 games in, but if the season ended today and the draft for whatever reason was tomorrow, who's the quarterback you think is going to go number 1 overall, or just number 1 period? Maybe not. There's not a number 1 overall the way these guys are playing.
Yeah, I don't. There's no standout to me. I mean, Cam Ward was a no-brainer last year, right?
Okay.
Although I'm not a big fan of taking quarterbacks in the top 10 anyway, because they historically don't work out, as I probably mentioned here, and I have other places.
You got a lot of data there, yeah.
Yeah. So if a gun to my head right now, I mean, boy, it might be Lenore Sellers from South Carolina. Might be the first one.
Really?
Might be. He's played
I
better.
thought you were going to say Carson Beck with that Miami shirt
Carson
on.
Beck, but the problem, maybe Carson Beck. I think people are still going to worry about his arm.
Okay.
That was a major injury that he had, and nobody knew how he was going to play. And he's played pretty well. He didn't play great against Florida, but that team is really deep and played great on defense and ran the ball.
Yes, I think so too.
He didn't have to play well, but Carson Beck's a good pick. I would say Beck or Lenore Sellers.
Okay.
Arch Manning, I'll tell you right now, I don't think will come out this year.
Right.
But I think he'll be fine. People are all over him, but I think the guys who are getting hurt most this year, as far as draft stock right now, are Alar and Klubnik from Clemson. Both of them third-year starters, and again, they both played. They've been a major reason, well, in Clemson anyway, a major reason for their horrible start is the quarterback play.
Yeah, I was really shocked by that. He played really well down the stretch last year.
He did. He played very, very well.
You know,
and this was a litmus test. This season in Clemson was a litmus test for Dabo's theory that building a team, through recruiting and minimal transfer portal, if any, not a lot of NIL money spent, just build a team. So you got a veteran team. He had a veteran team this year and a team that he thought was ready, and they played really well down the stretch last year. And it's failed miserably, and he's either going to have to adapt or maybe he's going to be looking for a job.
You talk about getting egg on your face. I thought they was going to win the national championship, Keith. I
picked
looked like an idiot.
I picked him to win.
Okay, so I don't feel so bad.
Yeah, they were my pick to win the national championship. So my whole playoff bracket doesn't look great right now.
Oh my God! Who's the best team right now in your opinion?
Ohio State, until they prove they're not.
That was impressive last Saturday.
Yes, it was. Their defense is really, really good. Really good. I've still got concerns about the quarterback.
Yeah.
I think Miami, not to be a homer, because I can be very difficult. I can be hard on my teams. I have a very realistic view of my teams. And I'm trying, as I'm watching the Yankees out of the corner of my eye here. Speaking of which,
I'll ask you that here in a minute.
I can be very hot. I can be very difficult on my teams. This is the best Miami team that I've seen in like 20 years. They are complete. They play defense. They can run the crap out of the football. And I mean, there's some beasts back there. Those guys are in that Florida game. They're carrying both of the running backs. They're carrying 4 or 5 guys with them, 8, 9, 10 yards. And the special teams are good. Carson Beck is the guy will put them over the top. If he's the Carson Beck we saw the first 3 weeks, and I think we're going to get a good barometer when they go to Tallahassee. They haven't had to play a.
Okay, I was about to ask, that's going to be in Tallahassee Saturday.
That's in Tallahassee Saturday, 7:30. Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait. You're right, because I think Florida State got caught looking ahead last week.
I do too. I don't think they're. It's funny. I don't know that they're as good a team as what we saw beat Alabama, because I think Alabama was their own worst enemy that day.
Yeah.
But they're certainly not, I don't think, as bad as the team we saw last week get beat by Virginia, who's not a bad football team, by the way. They've improved a lot, but You got to play better defense than that. I don't have a lot of confidence in Castellanos, the quarterback.
Yeah.
We've seen him. He's very erratic. We saw that at Boston College, and he's another guy who would look like a Heisman Trophy winner one week and a guy who you wouldn't play in Pop Warner the next week. And I think you're starting to see a little of the cracks in that. We'll see. I mean, Mike Norvell made a really gutsy call in hiring Gus Malzahn to be the offensive coordinator.
Looked great in that Florida State game, though.
For the most part, it's worked pretty well so far.
Yeah.
I think we find out about both these teams a lot Saturday night.
Yeah. I'm like you. I like Miami. I picked them against Notre Dame, and I was very impressed with that Notre Dame game. I still think Notre Dame's a good team. They just kind of had a fun. They're not a great team, but they've, feel like they probably gave that Texas A&M game away, and they had a shot against Miami. I'm glad they did because I picked Miami and Carlos picked Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's still a really good football team. CJ Carr's played well. The defense has been a little bit disappointing, played better against lesser competition the last couple of weeks. But I'll tell you what, if Notre Dame runs the table, Notre Dame gets in the playoff.
Yeah, and that'll help Miami's resume.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Notre Dame would be better off if, Arkansas and USC and some of these teams played better when they're not playing Notre Dame. But
yeah, I hear you, man. I have not watched a lot of
I think if they run the table, they get in, which will be a little controversial probably. But look, they played two teams that were the two teams they've lost to have been ranked in the top 10, now almost the top 5. I think A&M's at 6, right?
Yeah, A&M beat Auburn last week, and
two close losses to two of the top 6 teams in the country. That's not terrible, but you got to win the rest of your games.
They can't run the table.
Yeah, they can't afford another loss.
Yeah, Ohio State won it all last year, losing 2. I have not watched a lot of baseball this year, but I always trust in Keith Engel. I'll talk to Carlos tomorrow and ask him what happened to the Mets. But who's going to be in the World Series, man?
Well, I'll tell you, it's kind of biased. I think the Dodgers are still the class of the National League. They've struggled a lot this year. Okay. But even when they were, this is a team I thought was going to win 115 games. They won 90. They got to play in a wild card round. But
that is wild, ain't it? That's such a good team coming in.
It is. They dominated the Reds last night, and I think they're really good. And I don't want to say that they were bored or whatever. They had a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
I think if a team can turn it on here, I think it'll be the Dodgers. The American League, I think, is wide open. I like the Mariners a lot. I'm rooting for the Yankees, obviously.
Yeah.
But the Mariners are really good. They're hot. The two hottest teams in baseball coming in were the Indians, the teams formerly known as the Indians, and the Mariners. And the Mariners are just a complete team. They got the best rotation, I think, better than the Dodgers, quite frankly.
Yeah. Did they have a 60 home run guy?
They had Cal Raleigh had one of the great seasons in Major League Baseball history. Had 60 home runs as a catcher. And he's one of the best defensive catchers in baseball. He's probably going to win the MVP over Judge, I would think. It'll probably be a very close vote, but I think Raleigh will win it. Great. Just a great one. I've said it a bunch of times. One of the most historic seasons in baseball history he's had.
Yeah. Way up there in Seattle, and nobody's talking about it, Yeah.
And it's a really solid team. And I'm glad. It's funny. I kept saying, I hope the Yankees don't see him in the postseason. If they don't win tonight, they won't see him. So
what's the score, by the way? They're playing Boston, right?
Yankees just went ahead 4-3.
Okay. Like old times, man. Like old times, buddy.
Yeah, except the game did start at 8:30, and it's not 4.5 hours, and I'm staying up till 1:30 in the morning trying to watch these games. But
I love those games 20 years ago. 2022. You're right. Just going deep into the bullpen and stop and play, umpire warning both teams,
but the way these guys are managing these games is just ridiculous. Boone pulls Fried out of the game last night.
Okay.
Tied 1-1. He was coasting through the game. He gave up 4 hits. He threw 100 pitches, but they weren't it wasn't difficult innings for the most part.
Yeah.
And, just because his script says, yeah, time to pull him out and put Weaver in, I like the matchups better. He's your ace. You got to start riding these guys.
Yeah.
AJ Hinch today in the Tiger game pulled his starter in the third inning of a 1-1 game.
And there's no injury.
No injury, 1-1 through 60 pitches. Nobody wants to watch a parade of relief pitchers come in, and it's just gotten out of hand. So,
yeah, I've been saying this for a while. I think baseball should start in March and end around August or September, like the regular season, and just don't let it go into this far in. We're so much into football now, and let more meaningful games be in July.
Well,
and shorten the season, but I know the greedy mother effers ain't going to do that.
No, that's what everybody wants because they've added playoff. And I hate the fact there's so many teams in the playoffs. So it was up to me. We go back to 2 divisions and they play each other, and those 2 teams play in a World Series. That's never going to happen because, again, of money. But
money's everything. Yeah.
To your point of shortening the season, a lot of people have talked about lopping off some games, play 154 again, like they did before they went to 162. But nobody's going to say, I want to give up,
no,
8 home dates or even 4 home dates. They're not going to give up that money.
Yeah. Or at least start March 1st. And this, they're playing in late October, November. I mean, those games are cold.
Well, there's enough warm weather cities you could play early in the season, in a warm weather city. They don't even try to do that now, but you could do it.
College plays in February, Keith.
Yeah. It's getting that. All the seasons have gotten too long, right? I mean, they're just, everything overlaps. I mean, it's great to have all this sports going on, but I'm old.
Ed zones in the summer though. I can't. There's so many topics I can get to, man, but I can't get to them. Too much.
That's hard. It is hard. It is hard.
So I know you've changed your time. Now, do you do a show with Jack now, Hirsch?
Jack, yes. The last couple months, Jack and I, since sadly Mac passed away, and Jack have done a show together for the last 5 years, and Jack asked me if I wanted to do something with him, and I committed to Mondays. So we do a kind of a weekend bookend. So we do Jack and Keith's weekend playbook. So it's Monday at 8 a.m. Eastern and Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern. Jack and I do that show. And
nice.
Yeah, we have a few
spirited discussions.
Spirited discussions, yes. But we had a lot of fun doing it, and I retired in August, so I got a little more time on my hands.
Oh, I love that, man. Yeah, I'll try to bring you on more. I'm just now getting settled in, and it's great to see you. The fact that you got retirement, you got time, and money's not bothering you. Hopefully,
no. Played golf though. I don't know. I played golf 2 days this week already, and play at least one more time. So life is good, and the weather's been great. So it's been a great first month plus of retirement. I recommend it for anybody.
You can afford it, right?
Right. Well, yeah, you want to have some money, I guess.
Jack is he is so funny. Watching him argue with, I don't know if you and him's got one of those back and forths yet.
We do from time to time. Nothing like, because Jack's very fun. Jack has a wealth of knowledge. I mean, he knows a lot of stuff, right? But he'll come up with some of the craziest stuff, like relief quarterbacks, and there's like baseball has relief pitchers. They should have.
He thinks he should have a relief quarterback.
He's for a lot of the rules changes, the silly rule changes we've had in football and baseball the last several years. And
I used to love to hear him and Mac argue. Mac, you think this is not a restaurant business, Mac? This is the NFL. Him and Sonia got into an argument over what was it? Some kind of boxer, and he said, "Listen, Sonia, don't. I know more than Wikipedia." And Sonia's like, "That's insulting, Jack." Sonia got mad about. I told Sonia, and I love her. I said, "You should have clipped that because that is hilarious." And
it is hilarious.
Him and Frank gets into it on the Glove Fist show. They're hilarious, man.
Oh, Frank Latarzo, yeah, he's a great one too.
Yeah.
He's a big college football fan. He'll pop on my show every now and again. I haven't seen him in a while, but he hates Ohio State.
Yeah.
He'll bet Ohio State every week, and
That's what he told me. Yeah. I got to bring him on the show. He comes on when I put stuff on Facebook, he'll say, I bet Ohio State. I didn't know he hated Ohio State. He does bet them every week, don't he?
He hates them, but he bets them every week. I'm always betting
Well,
to
he
lose.
bets with his head, not his heart, then.
Yeah, he's always hoping to lose his money, he says.
Wow. Any other shows that you do? I mean,
We got a bunch. So we got the Jack and Key show I mentioned. We just got through doing the college football huddle. We do Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. I do the roundtable with Northeast, the old National Streaming Sports Group. We do the professional sports show, which is just a riot for an hour.
Yeah.
Fridays I do the MLB update at 3 p.m. Eastern, and then Sundays we have the Stream of Consciousness show for a couple hours. So we keep busy. We got about 13 hours a week or something like that.
Like an encyclopedia, buddy. One of these days we got to get you on a bigger platform, and same here, of course. But we're straggling.
I'm right here. I'm just waiting for him to come.
Yeah. The big money, man. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you coming on.
No problem. Anytime, Robert.
See you, buddy. Keep. All right, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow with the Mad New Yorker. We got to find out what happened with the Mets here. Have a good night, everybody. If you like the show, share the show. Share this show. That's good sports talk. You're not going to get anything like that anywhere else. Keith Fangle. I want to thank him again. And again, see you tomorrow. Same time, same place here on the River.